our coworkers who are actually affected. If 1 year is enough, if people would like to, I mean, I don't see why that should be an issue.
And I will say in practice, because this is currently not a policy for the district, and yet we are still making those accommodations for staff. So this policy is really driven specifically to comply with new Missouri law. And so this is broken down based off the law. But we have been working with staff up until this point to really get at what the spirit of this is going for. And so supervisors do work with staff on an individualized basis if it's more than a year.
And then I also had a question about accommodations. Does that include access to refrigeration? Is there any liability with refrigeration if it fails? Things like that. Should we be thinking about those things as we're crafting a policy?
It's a great point here. Of course, the accommodations do include those pieces as refrigeration and pieces like that. I think, truly understanding here that SSD, along with the district, really partners and collaborates with the partner school district to ensure that there's a space provided in those pieces. But I guess, we could take a look at Director Asner clarifying that out a little bit more, making that a little bit more clear. So those pieces are there.
I had some general questions. Okay, what are the state requirements on this?
So one moment. All right, so last legislative cycle, House Bill 432 was adopted. In that House bill, at a minimum, the district must, one, provide a minimum of 3 opportunities during a school day at intervals agreed upon by the district and the individual to accommodate expressing breast milk or breastfeeding a child. 2 is make accommodations for at least 1 year after the birth of the child. Though the district may do an accommodation for a longer period of time. So even the legislation acknowledges that we may go beyond a year, but legally we have to cover at least a year. 3rd is designate a room in each school building other than a restroom, exclusively for lactation activities such as breastfeeding or expressing milk. 4 is ensure that the designated room is near a sink with running water and a refrigerator for storage. And then 5 is ensure that the designated room has ventilation, a door that may be locked, a work surface, a chair, and a convenient electrical outlet. All of that is in Missouri Revised Statute, section 191-918.
Okay, so that's the one that is
referenced down at the bottom of the policy.
Okay, my question, and I'm not saying this is not a great idea. I'm saying, when it comes to the district administration report, I see how we can do it. How are we going to coordinate? Who are we setting up to coordinate with the other districts? Is that going to be who?
So this is state law. So all of our partner districts also have to abide by this same law. So it applies universally to school districts, not just special school district. So we do have language in there that indicates that district administration will coordinate with partner districts. Most cases, that's going to be a director working with their counterparts. And it's more of just identifying what is the space that they have in those school buildings, especially if you have an itinerant staff who potentially moves through multiple buildings during the school day, identifying where is there a space in each of those buildings. But by statute, they're going to have a space.
The reason why I'm bringing all this up, for other districts, I can see how we can do it. But I still remember times when special ed services were put in broom closets, because nobody in the partner district was allowing rooms. Now, they will be obligated by law to do this.
Correct.
All right.
Yep. So this applies universally to all school districts in Missouri.
Okay. And then my other line was, what are the numbers of students that would need this or teachers that would need this? Any idea?
So we currently are not tracking the usage for staff who are needing to take advantage of those spaces. It's not something that we're tracking. I can tell you, at least for our run schools, the number of students is very, very low, less than 5. As far as staff goes, it just varies throughout the school year.
Might not be a bad idea to track it to find out the numbers. I have no other questions on this. Okay, can we pass that on then to the?
And then just one note on that one, that is one that we'll want to make sure that we have to have it approved and as a board policy before July 1, which by having it come today, we're right on track for that, where it'll go for first reading in May and second reading in June. It's just we have to have it on the books by July 1 to comply with the statute.
Okay. Can we go to the next?
GBBDB. Hey, GBBDB. It's a fun one to say.
Yes.
As a quick aside, I know we're working to spell district without a capital D. They're interspersed throughout. We're still missing it every once in a while.
Okay.
First paragraph of the COVID-19 quarantine work authorization. I see another one there. They pop out at me every once in a while in the first sentence.
Where the district will offer paid leave.
No, to mitigate the spread of COVID-19, the district, there's a capital D there, may choose to implement. There's a couple others. I'm sure there's many more.
Yeah, and this one, yeah.
Because they're scanned.
Yeah.
They're easily missed. I didn't even notice that one until this reading of them. So
yep. I'll give it another once over. It's hard when you look at this for so long.
Yeah.
It all starts to blend in.
Are these in Word file format?
They are.
Where you can do like a finer, but yeah.
And just look up district. Just one. That's fine with me.
Yeah, and there's another one actually under the next under COVID-19 quarantine unvaccinated staff leave. Staff ordered to quarantine district. Yeah. And they pop out. And then blend in.
Yep. All right, those are all out.
For now.
For now.
Well, until we change our mind and start capitalizing.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm long gone by the time we do that.
I have a question on the reg. I was just curious. Under general, page 2, pardon me, page 1, general number 2. Why is there a then there?
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'll get rid of that.
Okay, I was just wondering why it was there.
It doesn't belong.
Okay.
I think because it was an if-then statement.
Yeah.
Mm.
But now we've got rid of a lot. I don't think we need it.
Yeah.
While we're in there, fix the districts.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, no, those I missed, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like they kind of blend it.
They kind of blend.
Anything else on the reg?
No.
This one's just to note that it's being replaced and deleted.
Yeah, we're just taking out entirely. No one is currently accessing the leave or has accessed it in the last 6 months. It was intended for when we had schools who were closed and we had early childhood centers who were closed. And so creating a non-paid leave for those families.
Are we okay to move on?
Yes. All we did was add COVID vaccine leave, right?
That's it.
That's fine with me. Anybody else have anything?
Again, more capital D districts interest.
Yep.
We're on professional short-term leave now. The reg.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm sure we probably, you're right with all the districts, but I'm sure we probably talked about this before. I can't remember. Could somebody explain to me under bereavement leave? It's on the second page.
Mhm.
And it says, are others for whom the employee is responsible. What does that mean? I have an idea, but I was just trying to figure out, that's pretty general. Does that mean if you're a guardian? Or does that mean
That's
if
and that's what that's getting at. Yes.
okay, well, I was just wondering what that meant.
And it could also be an adult family member who may be your power of attorney over or something along those lines.
Okay, I was just, do we at some point, I mean, that's fine.
Mhm.
Do you feel that that needs to be defined out, or that's what I was, when I was reading, I was trying to think, I think I know what this means, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure.
I personally would like to keep it vague intentionally. I want it to be broad.
Okay,
That's, at least that would be my thought.
Mhm.
because we actually defined immediate family.
Mhm.
We actually define immediate family in the next line.
Yes. And even then, how it's defined here, there are different definitions within the joint resolutions as well.
Okay. So those are defined also in the joint resolution?
Yes.
Okay. And so that would be in there.
Mhm. So this language here covers anybody who's not covered in a JR, and many of our JRs do match this, but we have a couple JRs that have a little bit of variance.
Okay, then should we reference the JRs in this?
So this section for bereavement, it does say right there at the top that this is for employees not covered by a joint resolution. But we can put a reference to the JRs there under cross references at the
Okay.
bottom.
All right.
We can put cross references to each of the JRs.
Okay. On the part on the COVID leave, vaccine leave,
Mhm.
on this, boosters are included in this, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, it didn't say, and because it didn't say, I just automatically figured they were. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, that's fine.
It says for each dose of the vaccine.
Mhm.
Right.
We wanted to leave that broad to cover any future boosters if that becomes
Okay.
just part of the norm.
All right.
Okay, are we okay to move on?
Sure.
sorry, another capital D at the bottom of the second paragraph.
Okay.
There were a bunch on the last one, by the way, I didn't even comment on, but they were,
On this one, they have some that are changed and some that aren't.
yeah.
Take care of that.
I feel very petty pointing these out, by the way.
That's okay, Dirk Jasner. That's okay.
I just
That's
wanna
that.
be-
That's that interesting, right? That's that interesting.
Right, yeah.
Right.
I didn't see anything with this.
So this is relationships with other schools and educational agencies.
Yeah.
Minimal changes at all. They're still quite relevant.
I had a question on this one, okay? Under other schools and agencies, what does it mean when you talk about assume its share of responsibility? I was trying to figure out what does that mean?
In the second bullet,
Yeah, I know, I understand what we're doing. I understand Ed Plus. I know, what used to be called, cooperating school districts and all of that, and how we're getting involved. I think it's a great idea. But I was trying to figure out when it said, we'll assume its share of responsibility.
well, because
Especially when I was thinking of how much we already pay Ed Plus and CSD, and that, we paid more to them than any other school district. So I was trying to figure out how much more am I going to pay? How much more was I going to assume?
so it's a nice way of saying we will work collaboratively with our partners to make sure this happens. We will share responsibility.
But it's not pinning us down to any percentage or any money.
No, sir.
Good.
And we're the ones making the assumption.
Okay. Good. All right.
Frugally.
Just wanted to make sure I knew what that one meant. Then on the last part on that request for information, I'm not saying that that's not that's great, but why is that in there then?
Because this would be opportunities that at any other time districts may want to share student information, and it's not related to, I would foresee this being in a story, or we would foresee this being some kind of advertisement. We want it to go through communication.
Not records, right?
Yes,
Because
no,
records, we have a separate
Yeah.
release of information for it. That's what I was trying to figure out. How is this different? Okay.
yeah, it's not either institution or educationally based. That would go through records. This would be
All right.
anything else additional.
Okay, fine.
That might, I think you have a good point there, though, Dr. Cuneo. Maybe that does bear some clarification. What
Mhm.
request for what information should go to the communications office?
Yeah, so we
Seems
can
very
add a line that request for records will handle the district's standard record request process.
Yeah.
However, anything outside of a records request.
We'll go through communications.
Yeah, I like it. It's just,
Yeah.
and I know we're referencing the release of information form and what we got to do for all that. But this could be confusing just because it's in there under this, unless we define it out.
Anything additional?
So how are we going to reword that one?
Yeah, so the way I've reworded it is it starts now with any request for information that is outside of the district's standard records request process from institutions or educational agencies about SSD students will be directed to the communications office for approval before information is released by the district teacher or administrator.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, is there anything else?
No.
Okay.
We wanted to make sure that we added homeschool programs or homeschooling to this, as that's happening more and more frequently in St. Louis County.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. And this is just simply adding with corporal punishment as they were taking JGA through and its implementation that needs to be done July 1, making sure our policies match. So corporal punishment is addressed in what most districts call seclusion, isolation, and restraint. We call it behavior intervention strategies. So we wanted to make sure the language matched.
Sounds good. Anything else? Well, we did that in record-breaking time.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Great.
you.
Have a nice
Thank
weekend.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.